Not to delay any further, but let's get started with our first speaker. Justin Dudek is obsessed with what makes people tick. His extensive background in social and behavioral psychology has led him to explore the world with two questions in mind. Why do we do the things that we do? And how can we do more of the things that matter? When Justin is not studying behavior, he spends his time meditating, dancing, and testing the mental limits by taking 25-minute ice baths. Without further ado, Justin Dudek. Thank you.
And thank you to FazeSpace for letting us use the Beam Pro.
Yeah. Thank you, Christy and Paige, for setting all this up, and all the staff at Bill. My name is Justin Dudek. If what I have to say inspires you at all or intrigues you, please feel free to reach out to me. The best way to get in touch is by visiting justindudek.com. That's justindudek.com. So let's begin. I haven't practiced much, but since this is a talk on recklessness, it's still on brand. So we'll see how this goes. I met a fortune-telling poet at a party in Los Angeles, and I shared with him that I was tired of my job, and I wanted to leave, and I didn't know what to do, and I was really scared. So he took a moment to think and proceeded out to type out a haiku for me on his typewriter. And he gave it to me, and from that day forward, my life has been different. Soon after I put in my letter of resignation, bought a one-way ticket to Europe, and I've been traveling through London, Spain, and now Italy since May 21st. I'm in Florence now, enjoying a fantastic Sangiovese on a rooftop terrace, and I'll have to order food soon because I think they're getting upset that I'm doing a conference at the restaurant. I have no job, I have no streams of income, and my bank account is steadily shrinking. Every day I bounce between feeling more alive than ever and feeling utterly terrified. I have no idea what I'm doing, but if anyone is interested, I am accepting clients for my new life coaching program on reckless decisions and making questionable life choices. I'm 32 and this is where I am. I barely have a plan beyond what is 2 weeks ahead of me. I've never felt so uncomfortably juvenile before, and the voice in my head, the one that keeps saying that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, and so on, that asshole, that doubt monster, he's not letting me go a day without the reminder that I'm running away from responsibility, that I abandoned a career from a company that's taking off to incredible heights. They happen to be a sponsor of Bill. It was bulletproof. But my voice in my head is basically saying that I'm failing at life. And then there's what everyone else is saying. Like, do it. Go now, or you'll regret it. And this is incredible. Your story is inspiring. And even that guy, Justin, seems like he has his life really together. I'm not kidding. Someone in their early 50s actually said this about me, and my doubt monster can't handle that at all. I don't think I have anything together. If it isn't obvious, I'm terrified. But I've learned a few things lately that is making this a lot easier. So here's a few lessons I've picked up so far since traveling, and some ideas that are still evolving. First and foremost, don't quit your day job isn't advice for everybody. I follow a couple business and strategy circles online, and one person actually posted on Facebook, I'm really tired at work and I want to start my own business. Should I quit my job so I can dedicate all my time to that? And 18 people had commented that they all agreed, don't quit your job. Don't lose your recurring, salary. And I was the only one who said the opposite. My post didn't get any comments or likes, unfortunately, so I don't think I was the right person for that particular business strategy group. Am I right? I don't know. But here's my take on it. Logistically, quitting your job outright is always an option unless you're struggling with large debts or taking care of kids and family. But even then, it shouldn't be avoided as an option outright. Psychologically, when we want to pursue a new goal or take on bigger challenges, we often need to adopt a new personal identity, a better version of ourselves. But our present identity is largely influenced by the environment that we live in. Your environment influences so much about your personality and behavior. When you need to make real changes, sometimes you need to flip your environment on its head, like I did. So consider the identity that got you to where you are in life or with your career is not the one that's going to take you to your next step. And your present job or environment likely fosters everything about your old identity and nothing about the new one that you want to bring forth to the world. Why is it so hard to change? Because every person, structure, and norm doesn't want you to. Because if you change, they all have to change. And when you rip away the structures that support your old identity, opportunities for your new identity come forward and are suddenly everywhere. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I had to move for a second. My second lesson is that your security is not based on how much money you make, but on how much you give to others. Every day I wonder if I'm working hard enough to build a new career or business or service, and my doubt monster keeps telling me, you're not, get your life together. But one thing that I am doing, and it doesn't feel like any work, is I'm keeping a list of every single person that I've met and had a significant conversation with, how we met and where they're from and how to contact them and the topics we've discussed, and most importantly, ideas of how we can serve each other and things I want to give them. We've all heard the trope, it's all about who you know. And when I hear that quote, I used to get really angry and frustrated. I didn't go to an Ivy League school. I've never had friends or classmates who became savvy entrepreneurs who built awesome businesses and could coach me through the next steps towards my conception of success. By the random luck of life, I was surrounded by what I believe were just regular, ordinary people. And I think it's all about who you know comes with some hidden toxic meaning. It refers to your status, the first word, it refers to your status and your prospective life through the lens of economics. Who becomes the currency that you're trading or even take from people that you meet. No relationship exists without this exchange or this competition. And knowing someone can be as shallow as having a connection on LinkedIn and Facebook. But I think differently now, because it's not about who you know, it's all about who you love. And this for me comes with a whole new meaning. Love overrides the shallow connection of just knowing someone and requires that you actually show compassion and empathy and understanding and attention for some level of commitment. And with love as the goal, the word it suddenly changes its meaning. It's no longer a race for status. To me, it represents the totality of our lives and its meaning and our pathways to happiness, contentment, and fulfillment. And from there, who becomes the purpose. Not a coin to trade, it changes into the thing that truly matters, other people. Anyone on this planet can be someone that changes your life or gives you a gift of immeasurable value that you never thought you'd received or deserved. It's your choice to connect with a complete stranger and ask them about their life and listen to them intentionally and build a meaningful connection and love them for being just the human that they are. So due to my lack of focus on building a business or making money, I'm not any closer to being able to afford rent or pay for adequate accommodations as I travel. Luckily, the wine in Italy is very inexpensive. But thanks to my obsession with giving people my time, my energy, information, thoughtful connection, and my love as one human being to another, I now have invitations to visit and stay for free at over 16 countries and 3 continents. Taking this risk of quitting my job and traveling without a plan, I had no idea that this was going to be the thing that made me feel the most safe in the world. But thinking about it now, what could possibly make you feel more secure other than embracing the people around you with sincerity? My third lesson is that I feel like I'm dreaming, but not everyone's future is a dream. It takes an incredible level of privilege to do what I'm doing. On my 8th day traveling, I went to the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, Spain, and I walked out of that museum a different person than from when I walked in. There was an exhibit there called Art in China After 1989, depicting pieces from modern, contemporary, and activist artists from China, works by the controversial Ai Weiwei, who was arrested multiple times by the Chinese government, and other activists alike. Now, I'm no expert on this art, nor the history or the culture or society developing in China. I can only speak to my reaction and the dialogue that took place inside my own head that day. And within the exhibit was a 3-part video titled Whose Utopia by the artist Cao Fei. Part 1 of that video was this marvel of industry and manufacturing, where it panned across this factory that was actively creating the incredible technologies that we use every day. And it shifted into focusing on the people who were also a part of that machine, who for 12 to 14 hours a day were having to move little parts and check, inspect pieces that were either defective or not. And this encompassed their entire day. And you really got the sense that they were just a cog. And part two was this juxtaposition of the active workspaces. The workers continuing nonstop with an individual among them dancing. A ballerina dressed as a bird or a floor manager popping and locking to classical music. And every once in a while, you would catch a worker glance up from their task, from their droll, banal task, at the individual dancer, but then only for a split second, they'd quickly return to the work that they were doing. And part three of the video was My Future is Not a Dream. Portraits of individual workers just staring blankly at the video camera with the factory continuing to churn and move all around them. And here was this pill of reality for me, showing me that some people actually experience this day in and day out, 12 to 14 hours a day. This is the bulk of the role they play each day. And here I am, a white, male, American schmuck with countless safety nets to catch me. And I quit my job and I run off to Europe to find my dream. I wept. I came face to face with just how much of a gift my life is. And yet the bulk of what got me to this level of blessed status and privilege is simple luck for being born this race, this gender, in this country. Well, not this country, but America. I don't feel guilty about that. Not at all. I feel no shame for what I have. But I thought in that moment, if this is the avatar that I get to play with in this lifetime, then I need to stop complaining about anything. And I better play this game to my fullest available potential. Because what's the alternative? People like us with the advantages and support that we do have, laws permitting, why do we allow anything to stop us from doing what it is that we want? Why do we ever listen to a voice that says, that's not a good idea, that's not how the world works, or don't do that, that's being reckless? If you have even a fraction of the gift of privilege, advantage, or freedom, or good fortune that I'm describing, then use it. Stop any thoughts that it's you against the world, and start believing that this world is being given to you for you to create, express, improve, or serve by any means that excites you. And the last lesson that I have is our question. What if we've been reckless with our lives all along? The definition of reckless is marked by a lack of caution, careless of consequences, irresponsible, and carelessness, failure to give sufficient attention to avoiding harm or error. It's negligence. Which is reckless? Walking away from a job that pays well, that supported a lifestyle in Southern California, downsizing all of my possessions and my apartment, buying a one-way ticket to Europe without a plan of what I'm going to do next to make ends meet, or waking up on Monday thinking to yourself, the last thing that I want to do right now is work this job, and sitting down at your desk anyway, typing away at emails and reports, counting days before the weekend, and choosing to wear a pair of golden handcuffs that enables a lifestyle of what? A life that consists of 1/3 sleep, 1/3 doing what you don't love, and 1/3 dreaming about doing something else. What are the consequences of those two lives? What seems more irresponsible? Which is more negligent or harmful to your friends, family, or even your children to see and learn from? The haiku that the poet wrote for me that changed my life is the following. Might leave sooner if put a mirror at your desk, see you're not smiling. I put a mirror at my desk the day after I got that haiku, and I knew instantly that I had to leave my job because I knew that I wasn't happy. If you're at all inspired by this message, then please do the following. Find an environment that allows you to thrive. Show compassion for others, connect with intention, and you will be safe no matter how scary things get. Embrace wholeheartedly that your life is just a temporary gift and start living it. And finally, stop being so reckless and instead go buy a ticket to Europe. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. And we'll give you a hand here helping with some questions from the audience if we do any back and forth. Or
Certainly, yeah.
does anybody have something for Justin while we got him here? Yeah, absolutely. What are you going to order in that restaurant? He's busy seizing the day, so it's got to be good.
I'm not going to try to pronounce it in Italian, but I'm getting the braised pork cheek. It's a Centosenese breed with soft potatoes and rosemary. It's relatively inexpensive here. For meditation, I do a mix of heart rate variability, transcendental, and mindful. And it's funny that you bring up the spiritual aspect. I would consider myself at this point agnostic, but sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I just non-secular. I've started to believe more in sort of the coincidences and the alignment of the universe. Just when you think about the probability of the math involved to create everything that's laid out in front of us. And interestingly, I've had a symbol guide me along this trip. And it's not an easy, or rather, it's not a common symbol. And yet, I'm seeing it everywhere. It's one of those things, it's not just like, oh, it's a red square, or it's an image of, you know, just anything, or like the number 3, and all of a sudden you see 3s everywhere. It's the Ouroboros. It's a snake eating its own tail. And all of a sudden, I've seen it pretty much every other day or once a week that I've been out here. And every time I see that symbol, I'm reminded that I'm doing something right, or that I should at least be trusting what's happening in front of me. Right now I'm staying with my very dear friend Heather. We're doing an Airbnb here in Florence, and we'll be traveling to, where is it, Cinque Terre? Cinque Terre tomorrow, actually, for a little bit of beach time. But I'm only in Rome until the 27th, and then I'm going back to London until July 7th. And then, I don't know, like I said, 2 weeks at a time is all I can really organize at this point.